What up, Hudrico Nation? This your man Hudricolive, and today we got a special interview. We're doing a Hudrico house call to see what we got going on. Now, to see the guests this week, you got to stay with me. So, matter of fact, let's go on this little trip. Come on. Listen, man. You got these big gates out here, man. And when you get these big gates, that means you done something, man. Here we go. Let's knock on. Let's see who may come to the door. Listen, man, this is gonna be a good one. This guy is doing his thing, so he's a great person to have as a guest on the show. So stay tuned, because we got something special coming for you. Wait a minute. My guy, what's up, man?
How you doing?
How you doing? You good?
Good, man. Can't
you good?
complain.
Hey, can we come on in?
Come in.
Hey, man, hey, Hudrico Nation, man, come on in here, man. Let's holler at my guy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast and mine, the Hudricolive Show. And we're doing a house call today. If you can't tell by now, the guy next to me, he's a bad mamma jamma, man. He get it done on Sundays, man. The one, the only Josh Jake. What's up with you, man? How you feeling?
Feeling good. Can't complain.
Listen, man, listen. First off, let me start here. Thank you for taking the time to sit down with us. Listen, this young man, I saw him in the summer. He was out there training insane so he don't stay the same. And me, I'm like, opportunities don't go away, they go to other people. So I'm like, hey, Josh, let me get that interview. And he said, yeah. But then the season started going, he got tied in, but don't worry. As soon as I saw him again, first thing I said, man, what happened to the interview? And look, we right here. He on the bye week, and let's get it in, man. Josh, man, so first off, let's start back a little bit. Let's take this back to when you was a shorty, man. You grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, man. Well, first off, what's it like in Tulsa, Oklahoma? I always ask people what's it like where they grew up at.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely different. It's definitely one of them cities that, you know, a lot of people don't leave there or don't make it out from there. So right now, I mean, ever since I left from high school, we've been trying to, you know, change the culture.
Okay, now I noticed that I saw some ads, and I've been doing some research. I've been looking up everything that Josh Jacobs. And I saw you got like a foundation to help urban youth, to help the housing development stuff that's going on. What makes that stuff so important to you? Why does that hit home for Josh Jacobs so much?
Yeah, man, I mean, growing up, I mean, a lot of people know my story. I've been homeless. I've lived in, uncomfortable situations. And things like that. I've witnessed people, in the same type of community that I grew up in, not really having faith or having, dreams and aspirations to go somewhere because they don't think that they can, or they don't feel like they got the love and, the support. So, I mean, that was kind of my way of just small step of a grand scheme of things and what I wanted to do to try to get back to the community. And so it's been a blessing. Well,
first off, it's been a blessing not only to you, but I'm pretty sure to all the young men and women that are taking advantage of these opportunities. That's great. But let's go back. Now you in Tulsa, you know what I'm saying? Y'all done went from hotel, then the truck, but you still playing high school football. You still out there toting the rock. How much fun did you, now I know you're in the league now, everybody think about that, but do you ever say, man, I wish I missed the days back in high school?
Man, I tell people that all the time. High school was the funnest time I've ever had, honestly, just because of, obviously, you grow up, I don't care how much money you got responsibilities. It's certain things you got to take care of. You can't, certain decisions you can't make no more, you're not young no more, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like high school was the time where, the game was at its purest for me. And it was just, carefree. So I was living.
Now, don't get it mistaken. I'm gonna show you a clip right now. In high school, he was still doing what he's doing now. But listen, high school, you had all these rushing yards. I think you had about, if I counted it, like 7 million touchdowns. I mean, about 2,500,000 jillion yards. But you wasn't getting recruited.
Yeah.
You wasn't getting the love that you wanted. If I'm not mistaken, you didn't even get your first offer to going into your senior year.
Yeah.
How frustrating was that for you to kind of go through that?
Yeah, it was weird, man, because I played basketball for 2 years. My junior, senior year, I got a basketball scholarship before I got a football scholarship.
Oh wow!
So I was like, man, like, what's not? I didn't really understand it. I was leading, the state in rushing. Used to send people because they thought it was like padding my stats and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So man, it's definitely was a journey. But back then, man, I think that the biggest thing for me was just I love the game, just having fun, with the guys. It's just something that it didn't feel like work, you know what I'm saying?
It was
like
just
that.
football.
It was just football, so it was fun.
So at that point, because listen, when I grew up in Miami, Florida, everybody's either you play football to get out so I'm pretty sure Tulsa may have some of those same similarities. But did you ever feel like, man, you know what, maybe this dream isn't going to happen for me? And if that was the case, if we didn't know Josh Jacobs the running back, who was Josh Jacobs going to be?
Yeah, man, I mean, I got all my offers like 3 weeks to a month or maybe 3 weeks before signing day. All my big offers like a week and a half before signing day. So man, it was definitely like frustrating for me because I was seeing other guys with like less yards and all these things, you know what I'm saying? They was having scholarships and I'm like, man, it's not really making sense. I passed my ACT when I was my sophomore year.
Oh, so you been in it.
Yeah, so my sophomore year of high school, and I had the GPA and everything like that, so I really didn't understand, why it was happening to me. And I remember a lot of nights like I used to pray and things like that and just be frustrated, you know what I'm saying? Like, what more do I need to do? What more do I need to prove? You know what I'm saying? That I belong. And that's ultimately the reason why I decided to go to Bama out of all the other schools, because I was like, man, this is the #1 school. Everybody telling me don't go there, I'm not gonna play there, things like that. And I'm like, all right, if I go there and I play, then I can prove that I belong and I'm staying in this world of football. So that was my mentality going in.
You know, it's funny you say that because I was going to ask you like why you chose Alabama. But let's check this on for all your younger fans and the guys that's trying to play running back and that kid who got that post up on his wall to say, I'm going to be good as Josh Jacobs. What do you tell him or her when they going through that type of adversity with recruiting or not knowing whether they're going to reach their goal? What would be the motivational piece of advice you would give them?
The biggest thing I would say definitely is never give up on yourself. Always believe in yourself first and foremost. And I'm a firm believer. My dad instilled in me, man, you do the right things, you trust in God, and you just be a good human being and everything else will play out how it's supposed to. So I mean, for me, I got to the point where I'm playing basketball and I'm starting to get scholarships, and I was like, okay, New Mexico State, my first scholarship, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm going to New Mexico State. I'm happy, I'm hyped. I'm like, you know what I'm saying, one of the only dudes in my school in like the last decade to go somewhere for sports. So I was like, man, like,
You was about to be an Aggie.
yeah, I was like, shoot, I'm all in. You feel me?
So let's talk about that moment, man. You listen, I don't got a phone call from some important people, man. My wife, my kids, these important people to me.
Yeah.
But what is it like when you get that call from Nick Saban and he's saying, and that Nick Saban boy, Josh,
Yeah.
we want you here at Alabama.
Now it's funny because the first dude I talked to was actually my running back coach.
Oh, okay.
So Burton Burns, he already had like 2 Heisman running back winners, this and the 30s, like high decorated coach. And he came and actually watched me at basketball practice. And it was funny because he sat down with me, he was like, man, I just wanted to lay my eyes on you. He said, I'm not even supposed to be here because we don't have no scholarships left. Ooh. And so I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, I appreciate you coming. He was like, what you think about Alabama? I was like, it's been my favorite school since like 6th grade. So he was like, oh, okay. He was like, man. He said, man, he watched me play basketball. He left. Literally 10 minutes later, he came back and spent like 2 more hours with me. He was like, man, I'm supposed to be recruiting another guy down the road. He was like, but I think I'm just going to stay here and lock in with you. He was like, oh, you play basketball, you kind of supposed to look at things. He's like, I just got off the phone with Saban, and we trying to see, what we can do. So the actual day of signing day is really the actual day I got my offer, because the guy didn't qualify that they gave the offer for, and they literally called me. So while I'm about to pick a school, I get a phone call, and I'm like, okay, let me
on the day,
like literally about to pick a hat. I was like, give me 10 minutes. Went in the back, all the media, like news in there. They was like, man, what's going on?
So what does he do?
I come back. I looked at my posse. He looked at me. I grabbed the hat.
You knew it.
Yeah.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, he knew what it was.
Okay, so listen, you high school, Tulsa, Oklahoma. You leave, and now you go to Alabama. I mean, we talking about we in the big leagues now, baby. What was that change for you? Because you get a lot of athletes that they're the guy in high school, and then when they go to college, they don't know how to transition to being a part of a big program. What was that like for you?
I would say, like, for me, it was an easy transition because I feel like nobody really had high expectations for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was more so just me believing in myself to coming in. You know what I'm saying? And really, like, all my life, I feel like I was good all my life, but I never was, like, considered the guy. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I used to always be, just a regular dude, I feel like. But, man, yeah, so coming to Bama, definitely culture shock. I never really lifted weights until I got to Bama, so they had to teach me how to do everything. So that was like a big difference.
Adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, like the first year or two, I put on 30 pounds. So it was like, yeah, like that's going from eating one time a day to 4 meals a day.
4 meals a day, you on a real meal plan.
And I'm on a real workout schedule, and I'm doing real workouts and things like that. So I think that was like the biggest difference. I mean, then not only that, like I was like, man, this grass out of flowers.
What is this?
I'm like, man, this is totally different. I see like, they heads in the trees, the bushes and stuff. I'm like, bro, I've never seen nothing like this before. So
it was a whole new culture shock. And I can tell you, you did add some weight, because I saw a clip of you when you put that hat on. You was Josh skinny, man. You look, matter of fact, Mike made sure we add a clip on that, man. Add a clip on that. You gonna see little Josh when he put the hat on. Now he over here looking like a little minotaur over here, man. So you go to Alabama, you have a phenomenal junior year. Like, you put the world on notice, man. You out here running through people, and doing your thing. Your pops.
Yeah.
I can't say, because I didn't live that life. I wasn't there with you. But how big of an influence was he to getting you to where you are?
Yeah, man, I would say him and, and a few others was the biggest influence, that I could have had. I mean, him and my Uncle Skip, he was like my coach literally from Little League to high school, all the way up, they basically taught me everything, even when I, took paths, different directions, they always, believed in me and, had them real talks with me and just taught me how to be, a man for real. Like, life ain't gonna be this way, but you're gonna have to stand on all 10 and, go about things the right way, you know what I'm saying? And even when it's going great, thank God and be humble in the process. So that was kind of the things that they kind of really just like instilled in me and really like, locked in me. And I was like, man, I didn't really understand it at the time, when they was doing it, but as I got older, and I have my own kids, I'm like, man, okay.
Now you start to see it. This lessons that you've been trying, they've been trying to tell you, now it's like, oh, you know what? That do make sense.
It makes sense.
Most people, when they see Nick Saban, man, they see the menace, they see the scowl, they see this old guy who just don't stop and he yelling and screaming. But as a player, like, who is this guy? Is he more than what you see on TV?
Bro, I tell people, everybody on the outside looking in of Nick Saban that's not an Alabama fan got him pinned wrong.
Oh, wow.
Everybody. Like, the dude is one of the most coolest coaches. He's a player's coach. And people don't think.
Because I'm looking at you like, man, he be cussing people out on the right.
So the thing is, he don't really cuss the players out. He cuss the coaches out. He hold the coaches to that standard, and he expect the coaches to hold us to a certain standard. You know what I'm saying? It's a chain of effect. And the dude is funny, man. The dude make jokes all the time. You know what I'm saying? He not one of them dudes that like he'll go out his way to talk to you and everything, like tell these nuts jokes.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, bro. He try to race you. I'm like, bro, you 70 years old. Sit down. You know what I'm saying? like for real. But he's like really like I think people really gotta pay him on. Like the more time you spend with him and to see what kind of dude he actually is, how much he does for the community, whether it's in charity or whatever. Like I've seen this dude sign cars for 10 hours and really give all the proceeds away to charity. You know what I'm saying? He's one of them type of dudes. Like I know he loved the game of football. He's very detailed and oriented on everything. On everything when it comes to football. But man, he's a good dude.
Man, let's listen, y'all. We gave Coach Saban a bad look, man. He telling you that the guy was a good guy, man. So you go through that adversity, you get to Alabama, you're running over folks. Here come draft day, man.
Yeah.
Draft day. Take me through. Look, tell me the emotions, the feeling when you get that call.
Hey Josh, this is John Gruden with the Oakland Raiders. How you doing?
Man, look, before that, so I didn't even know at the end of that year that I was even going to come out because I came out early. I came out my true junior year. Like I came in the league at 20. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the guys was like, a lot of my coaches was like, man, you need to leave. They was on the behind the scenes like, I'm hearing a lot of talk. It's time for you to go. And I'm like, I'm not even a starting running back. Like, what y'all talking about? Like, I'm not gonna go nowhere.
Whose man is this?
And for real, I'm being real. And then I remember, literally, I didn't make a decision to even do the draft until literally that morning of, I had to sit down with Saban. And we kind of went back and forth. He's like, man, I love to have you here. Like, you're gonna be the guy for us and things like that. But he was like, I also understand. He was like, we got a first round grade on you. So if that's what you decide to do, you know what I'm saying, you decide to do. So then draft day comes. And I remember, I'm like, man, why do we got to do so many interviews on this day? I didn't eat that whole day. We were so busy, like the schedule and everything. I'm like, man, I feel like I was rushing
That
to
was
get
the real
ready.
process.
It was a real process. I feel like I was rushing to get ready. I honestly thought that the Philly was gonna get me because I went out there to Philly to visit them. I had a real good meeting with them. I liked their running back. It was Deuce at the time.
Deuce State.
Yeah, and so you know I was like, man, cool dude. You know what I'm saying? I like this aura. I like the way he, you know what I'm saying, he coached just in the hour I spent with him. And then they drafted up. So I'm like, okay, they drafted for me. They ended up taking offensive lineman. So after that, I was like, okay, I knew I was going to the Raiders. You know, Raiders were where I wanted to go. When me and my agent sat down and we talked about like possible teams, I was like, hopefully this team. You know what I'm saying? So when they called me, I was just like, man, like I seen all my family in the back start crying. I'm like, man, y'all, I'm gonna keep it together. I'm not gonna cry.
You kept it together?
I ain't cried all night. I cried when I got home.
So quietly, and the secret of his own
home. I
home.
got home and got into my room and I sat there for a second and I literally had like 30 minutes because I had to get ready and get on the flight. And that's when I kind of was like, you know, let out the emotions out.
Well, I mean, it's an emotional night, man. You reached that crescendo. Everybody talks about getting to the league, but here's the thing: you don't been in the league for a little while now.
Yeah.
Now that you got in the league, what do you like? And this is for that young player, that young viewer. What does it take to stay in the league?
Man.
Because that's what they don't. Everybody think about getting there, but once you get there, you realize every year they are drafting 32 people to replace you.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you stay in the league?
Man, so it's funny that you say that because on draft night, they asked me, how does it feel? Like, do I feel like I've accomplished the pinnacle? And I was just like, man, I feel like the work just now starting now. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, yeah, and I'm in the league, but it's like, what do that mean? Like, what's next? You know what I'm saying? Like, now you got to prove yourself against the best in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole nother level. So coming in, I had a good rookie year. You know, I broke a lot of records. The year after that, I had a pretty decent year. The year after that, I dealt with a few injuries. You know what I'm saying? So I felt the ups and the downs in the league. But I would say the thing that you do to maintain for real, is just do the same thing you've been doing all your life. You know what I'm saying? Like keep that same hunger. I feel like a lot of people get complacent, or get stagnated because they get a little bit of success or things like that. It's just keep that hunger in you. You know, keep working every day. Like you know, it's your last day or this your last opportunity. You never know. So that's the thing that I kind of do to like keep that chip on my shoulder, just remind myself where I come from. You know what I'm saying?
And knowing that and being the player that you are, what does it mean to you to be a Raider? Because you know the Raiders have a rich history, man. I mean, it goes back. So when you put on that silver and black, man, it actually means something. But what does that mean to you as a player?
Crazy ass fans, definitely.
Raider Nation don't
they
play.
Wild. I mean, the good and bad, they wild. But man, I mean, for me, man, it's definitely a culture. I mean, you know, you growing up and, you know, for us, especially in my community, you know, you looked up to, like, the bad boy era and, you know, all of them type things. And I always, like, black is my favorite color, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it all just kind of tied in. The image, you know, not being perfect, gritty, and all of that. And, you know what I'm saying, counted out and things like that. I feel like it just fit who I was.
That's what it was.
You know what I'm saying? I just feel like it fit who I was and what I've always been, you know what I'm saying? So, when I came in, I felt like I was at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now when you see me on that field and, you know, I might be popping off or I might be flexing or whatever, it's kind of just like, yeah, this is the staple of what a Raider really is.
It lets you show your alter ego, that inner Raider that's inside of you.
For sure.
Listen, Raider Nation, you said it before. These fans crazy. They get it in, but they the good crazy. They passionate. They love their team. But right now, they ain't too happy. They ain't too happy, man. Talk to me, man. When you see y'all play, you can tell y'all want to win.
Man, honestly, bro, I tell people, you know, 70% of our team is new. You know, we got a brand new coaching staff. You know, I feel like it takes time for players like that to gel. Obviously, we got the talent. You can see that week in, week out. And you can see the flashes of how good we can be. It's just more so about doing it consistently for 60 minutes in the game. But man, I say it all the time, bro. We lost, 3 games, and 14 points. About 14 points. 4 games, 14 points.
Listen, that last one?
Yeah.
Now I know you a team player, but man, you 21 carries, 154 yards, 7.3 a carry. Listen, man. Well, listen, 2 carries a day, you know they equal first down. I mean, if you're looking at the numbers, so you definitely put in performance. Where do you go when you put in such a Herculean effort and you guys still fall short? Like, how was that? I know that had to been a quiet plane ride back.
Yeah, man, I tell people all the time, it's like, it don't really mean nothing when you lose. You know what I'm saying? Like I got 200 yards, best yards, in my career, or whatever. And if you lose, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's not really nothing to stand on. Like in my eyes, I'd be like, shit, I give half of them away for a win.
Boom.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just the type of competitor I am. But man, it really came down to like 3 or 4 critical plays. You know what I'm saying? And football really comes down to like 6 to 8 plays in a game, whether you make them or not, whether it's change the momentum of the game or change the whole outcome of the game. And in those critical situations towards the end, we just didn't convert.
And as you go through football, you learn long enough. Those are learning lessons that you said something. 70% of the team is new, so that's something you guys are going to adjust. You can see the passion in Devante. Listen, man, don't let Devante ain't playing with you right now, man. He is serious, but hey, I'm still supporting you. Still my guy, man. But now, as you guys head into the bye week, what is the focus now? Because the first quarter didn't necessarily go the way you wanted, but it ain't about how you start.
Yeah.
It's about how you finish. So what do you think of course, win, but what's the game plan going forward here for you guys?
Yeah, one of my biggest messages after the game was really just don't go in the tank. There's a lot of football left. And I was a part of the team last year where we went on like, what, a 3-week losing streak, a 4-game losing streak, you know what I'm saying? Like, and still made the playoffs.
Still made it.
You know what I'm saying? So it really just come down to, execution and doing the little things right. Like I said, we lost 4 games by a total of 14 points. Like, that means tough. Every game was winnable. Every game you ready to get it done. Every game, you know what I'm saying? It's just little details, you know what I'm saying? So I told the guys, man, we finally found our identity after like the last 2 weeks. In 2 games, we almost had 300 yards rushing. You know what I'm saying? So
if you want to be exact, it was actually 298. I did enough math. I don't do all the math, but my man had. You see how he's almost 300 yards. He said, I like how he made it to the team. Josh Jacobs had 298 yards the last 2 games. Just in case you want. Go ahead, I'll let you finish.
Nah. So we finding our identity. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got so many weapons. I feel like sometimes we go away from what's working. So I feel like we now finally starting to find our identity and come together as a team. And all the guys in the locker room, you can tell that they still want it. They still hungry. And that's the thing. When you lose and you feel like people still care about losing, then you're still in a good spot. You still got hope. You still got dogs that's willing to fight with you. You still got dogs that's willing to fight. Now, when you start losing and people giving up, that's when your season, you're like, okay, it's gonna be one of them seasons.
Now, I asked before. I said, "What's off limits?" You said nothing. So I gotta ask the controversial question here.
Yeah.
Y'all scored that last touchdown.
Yeah.
Coach McDaniel said, "I'm going for 2."
Yeah.
As a player, how do y'all feel about it? Now, of course, right now, it's like, why'd you go for 2? Why didn't you get the field goal? But in that moment, talk to me.
No, we wanted to. Because all week, people don't know, all week we planned that play out. We knew exactly what they was gonna be in. We knew exactly they did literally exactly what we schemed up. But the thing was, we didn't execute it. We executed the double team kind of poorly, and also it was an RPO. We was supposed to pull the ball and throw the ball, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was playing good, so I understand why he gave me the ball. Like, you figure it out. You be the guy, and I mean, I want that weight on my shoulders, anyways. You know what I'm saying? But in that moment, we knew like they already was having the momentum. You could tell because
they just
the fans was influencing the refs and all this other kind of stuff. Whatever on that controversy, but we could feel the momentum. So we was like, okay, if we get it here, boom, we go up 1. They might go back and we limit them in the field goal. Now all we got to do is get a field goal. And I mean, at the end of the game, still all we needed was a field goal. So we already
played. It was about a toe drag away from Carson's reach, man. They were about a toe drag away.
Come on, man. So we already had that all planned out. And like I said, all the guys the whole week, we knew what we was gonna do. We knew we was gonna have a lot of 31s, 4th and 1s. We knew we was gonna go for something in this game. Like the big one we scored on Devante in the beginning of the game. I mean, man, we jumped up on them like 17-0 early. So it's just one of the things about maintaining and finishing. Now,
you being the player that you are, you talk about a chip on your shoulder. You didn't convert a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
What is that? Does that make you say, I want to work that much harder? I want to put in that. So therefore, when that situation does come again, because I'm almost sure it'll happen again. What does that do to motivate you?
Man, that next drive, if you notice, I was like, bro, give me the ball. So I was getting the ball. I got 14 the first time. I think I got like 8 the next one after that. I'm like, just give me the ball.
Give me the ball and get out of the way.
Let's go. Let's do it because this is what I do. You know what I'm saying? So that was my mindset. But really now, man, it's just about having the ability to close in a significant way where it's not even a decision of what it is at the end.
You can do what you need to and get the job.
Yeah, bro. And without the theatrics.
Yeah, there was a lot of it, man.
Yeah.
And I know they was showing out in Kansas City, man. Y'all, they had fans throwing
beers, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was bad, bro.
So and I know they talk about the Raiders fans, but listen, throwing stuff in the players, man, that's not the move.
And the thing is, they try to talk about Tay and the whole situation, but they don't say nothing about nothing that led up to that. Going out in halftime, they was throwing beers. At the end of the game, they throwing beers, like all this other kind of stuff.
And all of a
like,
sudden, some dude run in front of you.
And I know the side angle looked bad on Tay, but like from the back, if you literally see the angle from the back, dude went right in front of him. It's a video, he literally went right in front of him. And it didn't look like, you know what I'm saying, the whole thing looked totally different from that view. So, I mean, I don't know how that's going to play out.
They going to do what it's going to do. But you know, look, Devante Adams is a great guy. Hopefully, we can get him on the podcast next. You know what I'm saying? You can set that up. Got him. But listen, he's a great guy, and I know he's going to work his way through this, man. But as we step away from football, and as we get ready to close this up, man, for everybody, they see the carries, they see the running, they see the who is Josh Jacobs, the guy? Because when listen, he came out to a high school game.
Yeah.
Man, the guy signing autographs, having a good old time. I thought he was back in high school for a little while. He was smiling so hard. But who is Josh Jacobs, the person that people don't get a chance to meet?
Man, I feel like I'm just a regular dude, bro. I feel like I'm chill. You know what I'm saying? I don't do too much. I kind of like, you know, go about my work and handle my business and, you know, just chill. You know what I'm saying? With my downtime, you know, I like to do minimum things, you know what I'm saying?
Just relax.
For real, relax. I mean, I write, you know what I'm saying? I do things like that. I get on my dirt bike and, you know, go mess.
Ain't no dirt biking in the season, okay? Listen, Ray Nation, I got you. No dirt biking in season.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, man. But I be chilling, man. I kind of just be with my people every day.
Okay, so you with the Raiders, you get that first check. What's the first big purchase? I always ask people, what was your first big purchase when you got the bag?
So people don't know. I deferred my money, my signing bonus, because you know we was in Oakland. So I deferred my signing bonus till we came to Vegas.
Get them taxes
right.
Yeah,
so like I wasn't getting paid like that. You know, I don't like if every rookie, it don't matter if you get your signing bonus, that's your money. But if you don't get your signing bonus, you get like the lowest baseline salary that year. So like all my money that I was making was really like mostly off the field. Like I probably made close to $5 before I even signed the NFL contract.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? Just with the things that I was doing off the field. So I was already kind of making ventures. I bought a crib out in Florida.
Got your pops a crib too.
Yeah, I got a crib out in Florida first. And then I did a Kia Super Bowl commercial. And my rookie year, in that year, I made more in that commercial than I made the whole year in football.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I went and bought him a house literally that next day.
Okay.
It was already in the schemes. I was already.
You was gonna do it anyway, but it's nice to have a little influence.
Yeah, a little. So I'm like, okay, I'm not even seeing this. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool. I went and did that, man, and then really after that, bro, nothing much. Like I got like 6 cars, bro. I think I paid for one. You know what I'm saying? Bro, it's crazy.
You got 5 cars. That's another thing with sponsorship. You know what I'm saying? Listen, Hudrico leaving out in something. Maybe a Kia, I don't know. But we got to figure something out, man. Listen, this leads me what I like to call my final time out. For my final time out, listen, ladies, gentlemen, players, man, woman, child, on beast. Never give up on yourself. That's one thing that Josh said. He never gave up on himself. When things didn't look like they were going to go his way, he still did what he had to do to make it to where he needed to get to. But the thing is, making it there is just the beginning. You have to stay hungry. You have to keep fighting. You have to keep getting after it because the game don't stop. It just keeps changing, and you got to keep yourself going. We like to thank our guest, Josh, man. Hey, look, I know everybody probably know. Where can they find you if they want to follow you for all your new people that just got? What's the social media? You got anything going right now you want to plug? It's a great time to do that.
Man, social media, all platforms. I am _Josh Jacobs. You can follow me, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. Man, right now, man, I'm in the business. Actually, I just bought like an electric bike company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
first, I would like to be a sponsor.
Yeah.
And I'll ride the bike around. I'm just, so I'm saying, so can I get? I just want to get this on whack. I need to be. Help me out, Josh. Let me get my first. I'll be Hudricolive. We'll plug the company every episode.
Nah, for sure. We'll have to work on that.
Bet.
Nah, but man, I've been doing a lot of business venture. I feel like this off season was my first time really just sitting around and like, man, I don't feel like I'm doing enough. Whether it was in the community or really just like even my portfolio, you know what I'm saying? So I did a lot of stuff in that aspect. And man, yeah, it all keep me busy.
But listen, man, we'd like to thank you for the time and thank you for having you on the show, man. And that's another episode of Hudricolive in the books.